dialogue. We gon' tell the truth, we ain't scared like a lot of y'all. Matters who they are, do we bow? Not at all. Dropping bombs on this wicked world, so it gotta fall underground. Underground dialogue. We gon' tell the truth, we ain't scared like a lot of y'all. Matters who they are, do we bow? Not at all. Dropping bombs on this wicked world, so it gotta fall. From the industry to the Oval Office, we expose the darkest motives of them all and disclose what the protocol is. Thinking and moving logical, stopping every maneuver possible, and apologizing for truth is not optional. We gon' help you with what you go through, reshape and mold you, and sweep over them weak lies they told you. If you living with no clue, we gon' deprogram the old you, and you get to keep your soul too.
Hey, your boy Keith Stowe. Y'all are tuning in again to another episode of the Underground Dialogue podcast, where man speaks for itself, man. And today,
yes sir,
man, we got a legend times 10 up in this building today, man. This brother is a 30-year veteran in the game. He is a Baton Rouge, Louisiana legend and OG gold-selling artist, one of the coolest and one of the realest to ever do it. Yeah. My homie, Mr. Young Bleed. How you feeling, family member?
I'm pretty good, man. With a welcome like that, K, much love, respect. I always say one to know one, my brother.
Man, it's well deserved, and really, you know, like I say, it's a lot more adjectives and things we could add to it, but and the time only permits for a few, man. But you know, real recognized. So we just glad to have you with us, brother.
Thank you, sir.
We gonna get right into it. We kind of want to go into the early days. We know you from the concentration camp, man. Those early days of Baton Rouge. Yeah. Tell us about the whole origins of Young Bleed getting into this thing that we call rap music, brother.
Man, I started to hear K. I always say, I'm born this way, born for this. On God, I'll be 50 years old next month, so I'm celebrating 50 years of life and the 50 years of hip hop at the same time.
Come on, man. Look at that.
When I was still an embryo, man, my mother used to read me Dr. Seuss, you know what I mean? That type of thing. So about 8 months to a year, I was able to read Dr. Seuss once I come here. But I had an uncle, you know, yeah, about 8 months to a year, I could read Dr. Seuss, man. So, you know, but that form of rhyme, not knowing what you're born for and born into. I had an uncle named Warren Johnson, and he always played congos, bongos, a set. About 4 or 5 years old, I could play a set on them. My mom said, you know, when I was inside, you know, it used to drive her crazy because he'd be playing them drums and I could hear that shit, so I'd be flipping and that type of thing. So when you sum it up, R.A.P. is rhythm and poetry. You know, shouts out to Rakim the God, man. So that part of it, when I say I was born that way, yeah, since birth, man. Yeah.
And it's crazy what you said, because a lot of people don't know. A lot of parents, wise parents, they read to their children while they're in the womb. You know, because the brain is developed and developing, so it can still take in information, and then that gives those children, that offspring, a head start when they come out. That's why they wondering, like Keystone, like read that 8 months. Like, because it was already being
embedded.
Like something in the spirit that just goes straight to it.
Just that information. You know, we way more intelligent from day one than we think. Man, the Baton Rouge rap scene, in my opinion, does not get a lot of credit, you know, because we always hear about the New Yorks, the LAs, the Atlantas, the Houstons, Chicago, all these different places with an established rap scene. But when you got people like Young Bleed, you got Boosie, you got Kevin Gates, you got NBA Youngboy, you got all of these great artists from past generations all the way to the current that have come out of that city. And the difference is, it's not a big city. It ain't no city that got 1 million, 2 million people in it. Man, what do you think is the reason why Baton Rouge has been able to produce so many great legendary artists like that, man?
Like a lot of places, and like we was mentioning a second ago, you know, a lot of us are born talented. But the direction and the business of it, we didn't have, you know, that structure, speaking of Baton Rouge in particular. So a lot, we right next door neighbors. I recognize something in Texas. Being that multitude of people, it's more unity in the community when they come to that. You know what it is. You can go house to house and everybody making a screw tape here. We were just talking about this on the ride over. Say, but that's like, if I'm coming to visit you, we gonna shoot shit, smoke, hang out. But you might got a studio in the crib. He might got turntables. So that atmosphere, we evolved kind of singular. You know what I mean? versus forming that ultimate Voltron. You're talking about the whole culture of hip hop, and kind of receiving that late. So it's there, but everybody kind of sectioned off, and due to the demographics and the plex and different shit that's in the city, ghetto to ghetto. So that's our only thing. So like I said, the talent is there, but the unity is, you know, and eventually I'm sure it'll take place. But it's clicked up right now, you see what I'm saying?
But it's a special place, man, because like the artists I named, they like to see you going to the concentration camp, CeeLo and all the brothers in the beginning. But also people like, we talk about people like Buddy Guy, and Pokey Bear, and all the people that came out of that city. My guy Randy Jackson from American Idol, all of them people who were born and raised out there. So it just, when I came into the understanding that all those people, I say, man, that's a special place for us. It's a special place.
Well, Gumbo Pop, for starters, the birthplace of jazz, you know, Mississippi get the credit for blues. So, you know, other than gospel and African music, it's roots. You know what I mean? So it's there. But, and you know, in so many ways you can speak of that, but just that, them type of children, you know what I mean? I sung in the choir when I was a kid. Before I was 10 years old, I sung in this, me and my homeboy, Chris Miller. It's only two black guys in this, I guess, Italian opera called Carmen. You see what I'm saying? So that type of thing. To where, you know, it's a lot of talent there. And depending on, you know, who you know, not what you know what I mean? The world get a glimpse on that notation. But it's door-to-door, street corner, like doo-wop bands, you know. You know what it is once you make it to a certain level of success. In the eyes of people, everybody rapping, you hear or sing, so it's all over the place. But it's having the proper education and know where to take it from now.
When did that rap bug bite you?
82, 83, and I'm gonna go back for us this. Run DMC 83, the self-titled record, was my pivot. But before then, man, rest in peace to Wicked Critic.
Come on.
Nucleus with that jam on it, man. The OG, man. So it started there. I used to run home after school. About 2:30, 3 o'clock when the Iceman was on the radio. Had a mega mix going, and take a TDK or a Max. Record this, you know what I mean?
Man, come on, man.
DR Flash and all them guys. So you know, that type of thing, man. So like 83, I could freestyle probably in 82, just catching on. We used to battle and do everything, you know, from here to New York, you know, we was learning the game. But about 83, it hit me. Shouts out to my brother Darian Williams, my street brothers, man. We was emulating Run DMC and decided to do a group like Run DMC. Was on the way over, we was talking about who was the greatest duo of rappers of all time. And we was mentioning Cold Crush and all that. When you had Grandmaster Flash, you got 4 or 5 MCs. You see what I'm saying? And how routinely that was versus what we do now. Jay, send me a verse, let me send you one, and you do your thing, I do mine. But when you look at that and you listen to that crowd, they had to sit and write together.
Come on.
When Peter Piper happened, they back and forth inside each other rhymes, you know what I mean? So that construction, we would form the Run DMC. So me and Darian say, man, let's do a group like that. It's a 9-year-old kid in the 4th grade. He said, okay, well, what we gonna call it? Shouts out to the Bottom Posse, or the Wrecking Crew, Streetwise, in South Baton Rouge, and you know, OG Cousin Silky Slim, and Joker P and DJ Chill. So we said, well, hey man, what we gonna call the group? And inside my household, I looked up to my granddad, and you know, his name was Goodbleed. You know, that's where I get my name from to this day. But that was my pivot, just as far as elders and that manship that was in the home, and you know what I mean? Everything else was broken up, but grandparents' house was still, you know what I mean? He was a hell of a guy. But between him and the street level was Silky Slim for us, that was street famous. You see what I'm saying? So we said, let's do this shit. Let's call each other Silk and Slim. And naturally, I always been a Slim guy, so you know what my name was. My very first rap name was Slim. I was Silk and Slim. And my guy was a little bit more stalker than me. He took the Silk, and we started there. And we separate middle school wise, still brothers to this day, but he went more the street way, you know what I mean? I was half slash there, but I kept the hip hop alive. So, you know, and numbers and names after them. But yeah, that's where it started for me, 4th grade, 1983.
What made you get so technical in it? Because you can tell you dive into that hip hop history like an historian in it.
Yeah.
You checked it out. I can tell you check out the fundamentals, the techniques, everything. What made you dive in so deep into it like that?
Just being a true student to the game, man. And it's not, you know, being biased to boy. No, if anything sound good, I listen to it. And keep in mind, music was in the family, from gospel to African music and so on and so forth. Everybody was talented, but I took it and made it public known or diagnosed it in that sense. But studying all elements of music, I'm talking Mozart, the Bach, Jimi Hendrix, the Bob Marley, and on the low under that, I'm a turntablist too. So I had a lot of DJ homeboys in the neighborhood where we swapped not for sale records and scratches and break beats. So I was learning how to mix and blend. So and that kind of developed me into a producer in that sense, to just kind of take instrumentals and run an acapella, Houdini to whoever, you know, the Friends drum, you know how that was, we throw that up. So coming up like that, bro, made me have to, in a scientific way, mad scientist, I stay in the back room, girlfriends calling the phone, tell my mama I call her back, I'm on these tables in the back room. So that became my day-to-day life with partners like that in the neighborhood around the corner, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Growing up out there in Baton Rouge, like you just mentioned, Silky Slim, man.
Yes, sir.
And that's a super OG.
Yes,
indeed. A brother that I got a chance to become acquainted with and knowing through Brother Derek Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
But just coming down here to stop the killing and all the community work that he was doing, to watch his transformation come from where he came. A lot of people looked up to Slim on that street level.
On the street level, yes, sir.
Were you around Slim just coming up and down? You just knew of him, or?
Naturally, yeah. We was the BGs at the time.
Yeah.
But we'll recognize our kinship down the line. At a certain time where Slim them lived in the bottom, we just told them, don't go across that Highland Road, man. You know what I'm saying? And we even had to move over there. Everywhere you taught not to go some kind of way, you get pulled into. So real young under those guys, I sort of loved they had and the privileges I had for family and neighborhood. I ain't have to really worry about them. We all got our wars. But what I was trying to kind of stay away from, embraced me since a kid. So him being big cuz and, you know, the wrecking crew as a whole, we can go all day starting that. Like I said, that was like really like one of the gangs of the city without the blood and crip thing. But then again, if you get into Slim origin, Slim from Louisiana to LA rolling 30s. You see what I'm saying? When we had the first blue 6'4", 6'4" got stuck on the switches, and that's how he drove to the stores on the time. Always, you know, he was legendary. Cadillacs 2 inches parked out the ground in the neighborhood, the stop sign. So always, you know, later on, more in life as I grew, we really became like that.
Good brother, man.
Yes,
we gonna bump it up a level, man, because the people who know, they know you from that, how you do that there, man.
Yes, sir.
And that song was my first introduction to you. And I was like, man, your voice is so unique. Just hearing how you came across on the airwaves.
Yes,
okay, this dude got a different flow to it.
Yes,
but what I didn't know, you had linked up with Malcolm P. I didn't know that originally that was your song.
Definitely.
So give us the backstory on that. I know that y'all had came together in P.
Right. Shouts out to Happy Perez, you know, Houston native. He's a South Park native as well as yourself. He was living in Irwinville with Max, you know, not with Max Minnelli, but they lived in the same city, country town, Irwinville. Max Minnelli and Jay Vaughn, they was formerly in a group called Laylo. I know Max Minnelli since he was an 11-year-old kid, so somewhere by the time he turned 15, 16, I see them in Baton Rouge, him Happy and Jay Vaughn for the first time at Happy Parents' crib before they moved back to Houston. So we started, you know, doing underground tapes and stuff like that, hanging a mic from the ceiling and just recording 72 minutes of a CD and just freestyle back and forth. Hap used to rap, you know, I don't know if he want me to say that, but Hap used to rap. But once I came around, I became kind of third MC, big brother to them. So we, you know, in the midst of making a whole lot of music. Shouts out my brother Lee Time here. They formulating C-Loc Records at the time, and you know, we kind of looking for new acts and so on. I had that connection to those guys. So we would do a couple of C-Local records on the first album, Who's Gonna Ride, second one was whatever. By the third record, we decided to do a compilation, but we needed a clickilation name because we was building and growing. Right. So I come up with the Concentration Camp, and my solo effort to that record was originally How You Do That was originally called The Fool. You know, shouts out to King T, the actor Fool. So I said when we was making that record, I said, man, people gonna say this is a fool. You know what? Right. That's what I'm gonna call it. So me and Hap really are the original producers to that record. You see what I'm saying? Then Beats by the Pound grabbed it later on by the time we would do a remix and, you know, re-enhanced it and that type of thing. But that's the evolution for starters, yeah.
How did P get wind of it to where he wanted to say, man, I want to rock out with you?
In the midst of P being back and forth from New Orleans and coming out, I guess Richmond or somewhere in California at the time, we all used to go to Cox Cable to edit our commercials, videos, and different things like that. So P and Loc, they met somewhere in traffic, you know what I mean? And we still was at the camp working on records. And just naturally, a conversation obviously they put it together, and it was an idea because the record was so hot in Baton Rouge. Shouts out to my big cuz, Jewel Jackson, when 94.1 first started. I used to have the intro of it, and I did a remix intro to it, so many versions of that record. If it came out on a Monday, by Friday that week, it was #1 in the city. It was on fire. So when Pete got a glimpse of that, then he offered to do a remix, a possible deal with Priority Records, and the video with the whole 9, you know what I mean? Plus, it premiered on the Bout It soundtrack in '97 for the year '98 that I debuted solo. So when you say that, K, gold or platinum before gold, but that Bout It soundtrack.
Yeah, that was like the title track of the Bout It.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I remember the commercial, that was the one that come on the most. So how was it when you first got signed to No Limit?
The truth is, I never initially signed to No Limit.
Okay.
P brokered, if I could say it like that, brokered my deal with Priority Records. So they took me fresh out of Baton Rouge to Sunday, you know, Sunnyside, California. Here we are, CNN building, and hey, it's Ice Cube plaque, it's Dr. Dre shit, it's Jay-Z Reasonable Doubt record, all that's on the wall, and a big ass silver Priority. I'm like, oh, Eazy-E and WA, and I'm like, oh yeah, this for real, it's here. I'm 22 years old in the summer '97, I turned 23. And so, you know, as a kid in that sense, you know, fresh off the 18, yeah, it blew my mind.
So you got swept up just real quick. What was the transition like from just being boots on the ground in the hood to all of a sudden, like you say, man, I'm in these suites. I'm from the streets to the suites. Like instantly, like was it like a mental adjustment you had to make, or you was like, shh, this is what I was ready to do anyway?
It was a major mental adjustment. Keeping in mind, I signed June '97. Biggie got murdered March '97, right around the corner. So my whole introduction was, you know, shouts out to Dave Weiner from Priority Records. Dave's still a good friend of mine to this day. So Dave, what I call the West Coast Rick Rubin, raggedy jeans and, you know, leather jacket, white guy. And then he picked me up from LAX, and we coming up Rodeo, and we stopped at a red light. He said, see this red light right here? This is where Biggie got murdered. So I'm like, oh shit. The oil Pac murdered 6 months before then. So that's California in '96, '97, going into '98. So, like the average person that rush to California, first thing you want to do is get high. We smoke weed every day. I ain't want to smoke. I ain't want no drink. They offered me weed, cookies, and everything. Anything I wanted, but I was like, oh, let me slow down. Get a glimpse of shit.
Can't trust it.
Killer Cali.
You know, suburban limousines and all this shit. Just I'm at the top of the balcony of the hotel and just, oh shit, Hollywood sign, it's all. So it's like, nah, never. Everything else out of here is ocean. You can go back home, or we can get it on. And they've been on ever since.
No doubt. Yeah, see, that's always a question I wonder with artists who, when they pop off like that, because, you know, coming from where we come from in this thing, it's a blessing to us, because it ain't something you go to school for. It's something that you technically have to we just naturally have it. And then to go from that to all of a sudden you on these heights, you at these heights and on these levels, man. They got to be a culture shock.
Yeah, you know, absolutely. I had that a couple of times. California was one of the places I had to get used to and adjust to. And it took me later on riding with Tech Nine them on the tour. And we'll wake up like we doing right now. We just rolling. Before you know it, you're in another state, or you know it, you're in another state.
Right.
It took me to get to Seattle, Washington, and look at the map and say, oh shit, I'm this far from home.
Come on.
If I have a heart attack drop, I can't say mama, I can't nobody tell you, hey. So that part of, hey man, I'm in the middle of nowhere. There's people around me, but literally I'm by myself when they come to me. So I had to take my time and crawl before I walk and lie to them type of situation.
Yeah. And this business, man, will make you grow up so fast.
Hey.
You know, the art of it, you always gonna be like a child when it comes to the art.
Yes, sir.
Because you just still loving it for how you loved it when it first. But that business side, that business side put some hair on your nuts fast.
Put your suit and tie on.
Let me ask you this: do you think when you forcing the artist to now have to be a business person, does that mess with the artistry to you?
Dr. Dre, I saw this in an interview with him and Jim Iovine. He was saying, even to this day, as much as we look and respect Drake, he said, man, I still don't like to have to fuck with the business. When I come in the game and say, Bleed, you know this 90% business, 10% talent. So I felt offended as a born artist. What you mean? That's how much love and respect y'all got for the talent? And nah, that ain't what we saying. I had to learn this microphone costs money, these cards, the paperwork, you know what I mean? So it's one thing to be a cute rapper kid, if you can call it that, but the whole structure and what we gonna take for to get the people from your neighborhood. I mean, you coming from your neighborhood, what I gotta do for Alaska to fuck with you. You see what I'm saying? So on a national scale and worldwide scale, eventually, I never left the country. I live by Canada, I live by Mexico, but I never crossed the border. But the music, here to Australia. So that whole structure of people working and the manual labor, picking up the phone, typing the, your contracts and stuff in the computer life. So I had to learn to more respect the business. I knew a few things coming up, copyrights, this, that, and the other, but it's a whole nother sea. You know what I mean? The things that you have to protect yourself, to not get fucked in the game. So if you don't do your homework, you can trust some people, but some people are going to rob you in the process because they know you don't know nobody. So I had to grow to learn to know that.
So My Balls and My Word, that dropped on, what label did that drop?
Priority.
That dropped on Priority.
Yeah.
And that's on the heels of how you do that. That segued into My Balls and My Word.
Yeah.
So that album, man, that's the album I was mentioning, that went gold. And mainly, I was referencing you as a gold because that was your solo effort, right?
Yeah, definitely.
That's you.
Definitely.
Yeah. So what went into the process of that? Because one thing every artist takes pride in is having that classic album, that signature album. Like you was mentioning Jay-Z, Reasonable Doubt. Every artist got that signature album.
Yes,
we feel like, you can correct me if I'm wrong, we feel like that's your signature album, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree with that. It's like I heard Michael Jackson say one time he could never beat Thrill.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And Rock With You and all that before that, and Sister Jackson.
That's my favorite. Off the Wall, smashing Thriller to me. But that's another conversation.
Right, absolutely. But that same kind of...
you're younger, see.
But that same effect, you know what I mean? How I could put it. They say, you face a lot of stuff in your life, and your greatest fear, and the ultimate fear is you got to face yourself.
Come on.
I could tell you all day, say, K, put me on, bro. I promise I'm going to make us $1 million. Let's see when that recording red light come on, that's you and that microphone. And God, and however, as far as that, your spirit and your inner self coming out and turning that to life. So, in the process of that, I signed with C-Lo Records.
Okay.
And so we didn't know the deal was coming along. So after the camp, A Fool being the hottest record at the time, then they started prepping me for a solo record. I was the first to jump out the chute after Low. You see what I'm saying? In that sense of the word, we had really recorded 14 songs was done before it was even taken to No Limit. Because I didn't have it. We working on this record for No Limit gonna be affiliated. We stayed working like that every day. You see what I'm saying? It's like anybody else. But the process of when P&M got the record, I think we substituted 3 songs. that would eventually become Brain and Noise, rest in peace to Pimp, man. Pimp produced. That's the only Young Bleeding Pimps you record in your having life.
Yeah.
He had plans on doing other things.
Yeah.
But he produced that for a 504 Boy record or a Mystical record.
Yeah.
So P called me in one night to finish the record, substitute those 3 songs, and let me go through a plethora of beats they had. That was one I picked. So you like that? Yeah, do the third verse you could have. Time So Hard was another. Shouts out to Moby Dick. They like that. I put a verse on that. These was records that was already pre-done, but an open verse was on them. So I recorded that and one other song. Shouts out to my brother Lucky Knuckles and here again Lay Low, called Mo Money. That's Beats by the Pound production. The rest was Happy Perez and Lead Time. You did the Confetti, right?
Yeah.
He did Confetti. So that was the circle of producers that put that together. But me and mainly Lead Time and Happy in the beginning, just working out the count individual from No Limit. Then when we meshed it together, we made it all make sense, you know.
So basically, like when you got that break, when you got that moment, your thought process was like, I gotta bring them bars, I gotta get Lead Time.
Definitely.
You know, people that see, because a lot of people do that or they try to do it, but sometimes the label will get in the way. Oh man, we don't want you or this and that, you know. But I think it take a strong character individual to be like, hey man, you know, same people that made y'all interested in me, that helped me with that.
Yes,
they coming with me
and
too,
supporting me. Got me that.
Yeah.
I know y'all know this being from Texas, and probably everybody else in the room. The greatest example of that, and one of my favorites, I got, you know, a plethora of favorites, bro. You break it down the areas and coasts and all that. But the DOC.
Okay.
Everybody thinking he from Cali and NWA, he had to ride that wave before he could say Dallas. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's the greatest example of that for me.
Like DJ Premier.
Yeah.
For me, I didn't know that just some years later.
In Texas too.
Yeah, a lot of people do what they gotta do. I even remember hearing that Nelly went through that. They was trying to kind of get him to
myself
come along, and then he was like, no, people coming in. People was like, hey man, don't just get in and then come get us. So there's a bunch of ways to get through that door.
Right.
You was talking about Pimp, man.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I was hearing how you said, he said, give me that record. You know, like I put together that record. And I was there. I remember Pimp had this sort of say the same record like that all the time.
That was unique, man.
Man, y'all have similar, y'all sound alike a lot when y'all get talking like that, man. And I think one time I heard you say he not even from Port Arthur, but he originally from.
I used to be, I remember this, just about 96 or so. 96, maybe going to 97, right in that time. So, old man, I can't remember his name, from Crowley, but he was living in Baton Rouge. I was living off a Starboard. Come right in my parking lot, we were talking to each other sometime. He said, hey man, you know Chad? I know a gang of Chads where we from. I said, what Chad? He said, man, Chad Butler, Pimp C with UGK. I said, nah, I know of Pimp, and I ain't never met him. He said, you remind me of Chad, bro. You gotta meet Chad. Long for our meet Pimp. So I thank God that we was able to cross paths and become brothers. Some things is destiny.
No doubt.
So we'll go to Lafayette, Lake Charles, and people know this, you know, who was with us say, man, Pimp and Barn up the street. They say, come up there and holler. We'll be 40 deep with all I don't want to say no name with them monsters. So I didn't want to go down there, you know, we ride in certain ways. So it'll be on a priority tour, 98. Shouts out to 8 Ball and MJG, but they was doing their solo thing at the time.
Okay.
MJG was the headliner for this show at 579. I forget it was what's that? That's a different club, different store. But it might have even been 579, but in Atlanta. And this around the time Pimp was making the transition between here and Atlanta. So I know this for sure, but that's what we talked on the phone. Me, him, and Mama West to try to do certain things to, you know, just working together, shows and all that. If somebody called me about Pimp and I had that access to him, I'll call him and try to put the play together. But saying it to say this, I'm backstage with MJG, Thorough from South Surf, me and Mr. Mike is cool. Thorough, Twister, you know what I mean? We all backstage kicking it. Frederick, rest in peace, my cousin was alive. We wanted some Hennessy. They come give us a big ass bottle of Hennessy. We backstage having a good time. And somebody come to me and say, Bleed, Pimp wanna holler at you. I said, what Pimp? Pimp C. I said, where Pimp at, man? So Pimp come to me with some jean shorts, you know what I mean? A regular t-shirt, bald head with the little specs on, looking like an educated thug, nigga. Like. So that's how we met face to face. And he said, bleed, man, what you doing after you leave here? And I regret this and a lot of shit now. I care if I don't know what I knew now. I was halfway finished recording my own. I got a song on that called Time and Money that Short got on for me. Short had posted up in that line. So I talked back and forth to them and say, Short, you know I'm trying to do a record with Pimp. And we did that. Short said, that's who you put on. So I'm trying to put Pimp on that record. Another story, but before I forget this, we backstage. Pimp said, please, when you leave this, man, why don't you come to the house, man? I got beats, sweets, freaks, and some drone. I say, man, I gotta be the Chattanooga, Tennessee in the morning. We speed car racing about 4 or so cars, 2 or so deep. So you know, I got a few guys with me, Big Toxic, shouts out Uncle Paulie, Larry, all us was together. That's how we rolled from Baton Rouge. And I just didn't have that time keeping up with that tour day. Later on, he tell me this, K, and I might have mentioned this someplace or another. He say, Bleed, let me produce a whole album for you, I think for about 10 or 12 grand. I was down there, finished my own, turn it on with Pro Art, and I was like, nah, Pimp, I just want to put you on this Time and Money with Short, and then we'll get to what we gonna do. And if I'd have knew what I knew now, I would have stopped that whole shit and started over, man. Peace to the Pimp, man. Yes, sir.
Hindsight, man.
Yes, sir.
Like 2020.
Yes, sir.
So y'all relate, because you're talking about late 90s all the way up to, so y'all relationship stayed solid
all the way to the end. I was finna sign to UGK Records. On guard, you know, and I know me and Sebo was living in Dallas. So the night I heard Pimp was home, we was doing a show somewhere up there, and I get off stage and I hear the MC get on there and say, hey y'all, welcome home to the Pimp. It's like a Friday night. I said, Pimp and K, ooh. So it'll be, it wouldn't be to that All-Star weekend one night at the Bodega. You know, I saw him backstage. You know, Zero was with us, and you know, Sebo was there.
So we in the 2000s now.
Yeah, that was so. Yeah, all of us. But when I heard that, Senator say this, him and Bo linked up. You know, Bo Screw was Bo reintroduction or however to the South, so he loved Screw to death and Pimp. So I guess Pimp knew he was out here, whatever the case. Me and Bo was working on an album called Rustlers at the time. But he said, Pimp called me to do an album, man. I said, man, don't worry about that. Y'all go do that. Let me get on. He said, all right, we're going to do that. So I asked it that All-Star weekend, Bo was out here recording that record at Mike D house. Mike Dean, right, the Yellow Boy. So he called me to the house, but Mike had went to sleep. I come right to the gate outside, but he was asleep for a while. I could actually meet him. But Bo was out here doing that, and that's the night I saw Pimp when he come on. All the chaos that took place in the club, I think that was gonna be the first UGK show since he been home. They didn't, you know, it didn't get that far. They ended up shutting down the club. But that type of thing, we was in cahoots with each other. Then Pimp and Ken affiliation, he kept me and Pimp together. I was living in Dallas, so if Pimp came to Dallas, if he didn't call me, Pimp and Ken gonna call me. So Pimp gonna be there at night, go here, and we stayed like that. I actually gave him a record for him and Bond to get on with me in the kitchen of Club Blue. Last time I saw him, you know what I mean? One of my homies, shots out Garfield Smith from back home, called me 1, 2 in the morning. That 2 in the morning. Wake up, I'm finna go to the corner store, give me a cigar, start my day. And I had to text me and say, Pimp was found dead. And so I just talked to Pimp, you see what I'm saying? So I knew that was for real. I called Pimp and King. I never heard him cry. He was crying on the phone. He said, Bleed, it's true. So I asked him, hey, Uncle, what's up? Hey, it's true, man. I'm on the phone with the car and I'm gonna call you back. When he talked for probably about 6 or so months after that. So that's how I got it. But all the way to the end with Pimp, man.
And Pimp one of those dudes like Screw, like the people who knew him, they never had a bad word to say about, at least from me being in the circles I've been in. And always had that quality of loyalty about himself. When he was with you, he was with you.
All the way with you.
You know,
Go ahead,
Keith, so you got something?
Yeah, that was good one. But what I was noticing about Young Bleed, man, when I would do my research when we knew we was going to be interviewing you, I would say, okay, make it do that deal so far back, right?
Yeah.
I say, man, what he been up to now? You know, let me see what he's been working on, what he's been doing right now.
Yeah.
And I come across, I come to find out this man ain't took a break since.
Nah.
He's been dropping, I mean, some heat rocks this whole time, and not just regular heat rocks.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm talking about some.
Yeah.
Put them chills on you.
I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense not just talking to you because when you dove back into your history, you know, and how the music is just embedded in you, just from birth, before birth.
Yeah.
The bottom line is, a person like that not gonna stop.
No,
you're not gonna stop. You can't. You literally can't stop. So you know, we was talking about the business, and you know, the business will put them hands on you if you don't learn how to fight back.
Yeah, man.
You know, and I've seen it make a whole lot of people quit. Give up. I've seen it drive a lot of people crazy. They doing the same. Right. So you really got to be rooted in a solid enough mental foundation to understand that you are actually, when you enter the music business, you're not just entering into the business. You actually are going to war with the business.
Physically, mentally,
without a doubt. And your job is to come out victorious. You're going to be cut up, wounded. You're going to have some slices and scars on you, but you want to still be able to crawl out, walk out, and fight another day, man. We're going to bring lead time in.
Okay, there you go.
Come on with it. Chop it up with him, you know. That's it. Because, you know, this brother lead time, from a production standpoint, he got so much history himself, and just me learning about you from Bleed, bro. You are just as etched in the history of Baton Rouge and that region and the southern region just as anybody else. But what happens a lot of times is, man, it's always going to be some unsung heroes that come through this thing, come through these channels like that. But we want to use our platform to make sure that the unsung, deserving people get as much love as they supposed to get or anybody else get, man. So break down your origins in production. What made you want to get on that side of it? Or was it ever a time that you rapped too and you just transitioned over to the music?
Yeah, pretty much the same kind of story. In Louisiana, you know, they if your family doing something, you know, you have that avenue most likely to be open and be a good, successful lane for you. And so by my father being blues person, and by the way, Baton Rouge is a blues. It's like a backyard blues. It's known for that. And so my father was part of that kind of platform back then.
Right.
And so by being around music all the time, I mean, you know, just he would carry me with him when he would do music or whatever. I'm talking about I was in clubs with this dude, brother. You know, under 12.
12.
I know the feeling. He got babysitter. He ain't finna stop his bread. So he got me and my brother, you know, rest in peace. You know, we with him, we at the club, so we was always around music. And so that production side, you know, it came from a lot of influence from him and my family, you know. I get to school, look at my, you know, schedule or whatever for the school. Oh, damn, I ain't signed for band. I was put in. I just was in it. You know? My baby sister, my baby sisters, babysitters was the Womack sisters.
So was it?
Yeah. You know what I mean, so I just always was around that type of atmosphere. And so that's the beginning of my origin with it too.
But the rap beats though. You say
rap beats.
What was your first piece of equipment? What was you producing on when you first started? And everybody got that story. Like, man, I just remember seeing the first little great Alesis drum machine all the way up to the EPS and the AS. What was your first thing?
It was a Sonic keyboard, man. We saved up enough money to get that first Sonic keyboard. You know, they had a long line like the Sonic 10 and stuff like that, but this was like one of the first one of them. And so our first production, first thing we did put out was was the Southside thing, a little single.
Yeah.
Me and Low.
Yeah.
And that's what we used. We had this little Sonic, whatever the last name was, with that board right there.
Yeah.
And then we did the Who's Gonna Ride album off that board. But rap beats and rapping, yeah, I'm kind of like what DJ say, you know, the evolution of Run DMC into the CD. We was born where we could really watch rap come and evolve. Right. From disco, we went from disco music to rap, you know, as we came from the 70s, you know, 70s, baby. And so when rap came, you know, I felt music in me and it was my future. But as rap evolved, I was like, well, yeah, I'm gonna go with this one here, right here.
How long did it take you to get good at producing? Because I found that producing is kind of just like rap, where, you know, we all had to go through evolution. My early raps was trash, you know what I'm saying? I'm starting off early on, you know, you look back at some of that stuff, and a lot of producers might say, man, my beats ain't. Did you seem to have a natural knack, or you had to kind of scrap a lot of stuff and then get better, you know?
It was more natural. I would learn on ear, like I was that little kid in the classroom, you know, bamming on the table, making beats.
Yeah.
And man, I mean, if I think about that, that's a good question right there, you know. It goes back, man, we tape recorders. We would bam on the wall. We didn't have no sample drums. We would bam on the wall, slow the tape down, cutting tape, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, the East Coast really, you know, was the evolution of a lot of that stuff. And so we'll mimic what we seen those guys doing or whatever. And but making the beats and stuff like that, what I would do, I would just study the music that was out already and kind of follow whatever they would do, like learning how 16 bars or whatever, you know, studying and listening to their music. Public Enemy, you know, KRS-One, people like that. They set the templates for it, and so we just follow along with that, you know what I'm saying?
So you was primarily producing in concentration camp. You did a lot of work over there?
Yeah, the first singles from CeeLo Records, which launched the concentration camp.
Right.
The first single was called Southside Thing.
Yeah.
And so I did the production on that. It was 2-3 songs with a remix on it. Then we said, we're gonna take this here, now we're gonna expand to a CeeLo album. And so we did an album called Who's Gonna Ride.
Yeah.
And I did 8% of the production on that.
Yeah.
And so now we got new hit songs or whatever we would call it at that time. So we take a group of that and then we move to the next project, which is the CeeLo whatever. And I did probably like, you know, 20% of those beats.
Yeah.
But in my time, you know, the first time we got on the radio, those were my beats, like Who's Gonna Ride, and things like that. That album, when it came out, one of the main singles off of it was called Never Say Die. And we went to the radio with that, so we let dudes, we in this rap game, we finally get to hear. Now that's going knock on the door. Hey man, play this note, but they playing something that we on. Max Manetta, them their first single. It's the beat that I produced for them. So most of the camp people, when I think about it, and I look back at them, most of their first time on the radio was on my production.
Go ahead, Keith. Go ahead.
I was gonna see, cause I know, like even with the song, I mean even with the song like How You Do That. It seems like it's very strategic to knock it's hard, but then it's catchy. Sometimes I know at the end it's street, but then at the same time, you know, like how Kay was saying, it's polished. Yeah. But it's somehow another like I can be.
It's hood commercial.
Yeah.
Right. It's hood with enough
club commercial.
A national product.
Yeah.
And so that's what. One of the things we would decide, we were like, man, how we gonna do this? If we want to be able to be national, but we know we hood, so we would strive for that balance right there. That's how the concentration camp and, you know, most of the CeeLo Records music at that time was based on that. We gonna keep this hood. We just need enough nationality, enough little flavor of R&B or whatever around us, or whatever we can use from the West Coast to the East Coast. You know, we babies of that. You know, Easy babies, so we mix all this into the mix of what we were doing, but we're gonna keep it hood, but we're just trying for that balance to make it more national at the same time.
That's what you brought in?
Yes, definitely. That was a lot.
Now that takes insight, because sometimes people will come in with that mindset of like, this the kind of song you gotta make to do this and to do that. Yeah. For y'all to come in and I'm gonna be myself, we gonna be ourselves, and we still break through.
Yes, sir.
You know, that's a good feeling. I ain't gotta give up no parts of me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still. Let me ask y'all about radio, because when I was listening to Lee talk, it's like he was basically saying like, this the song that they was playing, this the song that I produced. And how hard or easy was it to get y'all music on the radio locally during that time? Because you know, we know how rich, you know, out here it's hell and high water, you know, unless you come in the door breaking bread. So being, I guess, in a smaller city, did that make a difference, or did y'all still have to go jump through some hurdles?
Let me say this, and I want you to take it from there. When y'all started, you know, everything from the company. Yeah. Me at about 16, 17, I had a tape that I saw in the corner. It was called When Dirty Harry Meets Sally.
Yeah.
You know, we had the police killing us and that way, you know, a long time ago. So I made a song, I forget Chauncey last night. You remember Chauncey? I was lying, the sheriff killed him. So I had a song about revenge on the cop with called When Dirty Harry Meets Sally, the movie When Harry Meets Sally at the time. The flip side of that was a song called Much Love that I sampled the old Barcade sample with the Friends drums. Knowing Ernest the Night Prince and those guys, shouts out to Mike Williams and Todd Sterling. They was working for Q106. And WXOK was our AM station. So about 17, with that access, not what you know, who you know.
You good right now.
Okay.
I want to make sure the kids are
Okay, not what you know, you know, knowing somebody, they played that for me on the radio all the time. So it's right before I become a part of C Local Records. You take it from there to when the first time, you know, the label was on the radio.
Yeah, so back then it was kind of hard for local rappers, and like you say, who you know what I'm saying, was a basic thing. But we learned like we're gonna have to go take it to the people, then the people gonna request it, and then that's what they'll come back and play it, because it wasn't no just, you know, go up to them and let them, you know, hear the song.
He wasn't doing that up there either.
No, it wasn't really nothing like that. I think we had, just like he said, it was a Night Prince.
Night Prince, and long before then, remember they used to have to make it or break it.
Right, you know,
they did that, you know.
Yeah,
and that locally, a few people that let you come.
What about club? Could you walk into the club, or the same dynamic politics?
Same thing,
you know.
Of course, the payola and all.
Right.
That's back then. So something.
And it's funny because we all played that game a little bit, you know. But we played on a smaller level. Like we wouldn't walking in with 15, 20 racks. We catch a dude, catch him at the remote, and slip him 100 or 200, and give me something. You know, whatever you can get. But I'm just wondering about the dynamic in terms of you know, in a smaller market like that. I would always assume it would be easier. But if those stations are still under the umbrella of those big companies, you know, Radio Ones and all the Clear Channel, then the politics will still be the same.
And the program director and control. And at that time, it wasn't so much of what it is now, the same 21 songs every hour. But we knew Ernest the Night Prince now, so it was like us coming to talk to you. Jewel Jackson was my cousin. Me and Jewel used to go to we had a group together. Shouts out to Katina King, Jewel Jackson. It was called Bayou Posse. Kind of like the Fugees back then. Me and him was two male rappers. He was the producer. And we had a female, my friend Katina King, by the name of MC D-Light, like MC Light, but D-Light. And with the vicious as I was young, like my alter ego, but from a female style, for battling each of the death. So we started like that. And Jewel really had a dream to be a radio program director, different stuff. So we used to go across the river to Platinum on our port out, one of those where at a younger time, he one of the few guys that my parents would trust with me to go, you know what I mean, take me, you know, outside on boundary. So he'll have to go sit in this radio station all night. But all he did was put in commercials and play baseball games. It wasn't even no music. He'd play with the equipment inside that, hang out to about 6, 8 in the morning, bring me back home. But that's how we was working, and you have a beat machine and we were working on our craft. But all he had to do was put the commercial stuff in it. So when 94.1 came along, he was the main guy over there. So naturally, when that album, hey, cuz, that's how, so, you know, blessed in that sense. But it's like everything here was, if you wasn't greasing nobody's palms or that type of thing, or knew somebody, yeah, it's hard to do.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just about getting that opportunity, because you can pay all day long if the song don't pop off, it ain't gonna pop off. You know, so when y'all music hit the airways and the people jumped on it, you know, that whatever you had to slip somebody, that was just to get me in. I still gotta be jamming, you know.
That's right.
At the end of the day, I wanted to ask you this because, man, to me, you have a unique situation that I don't think a lot of artists have. You have been under two of what I consider the best businessmen in rap. We talked about Master P and all that, but you also was rocking with Tech Nine, Strange Music. And when it comes to like just the business models, these two dudes are like crazy. Top five up there with anybody, man. How'd you end up linking up with Strange Music?
Shouts out to two people in particular. My man Chauncey Clyde out there in Kansas City, Missouri. But in that connection with Dave Wine came from Priority. But Dave, I forget what his level was at Priority Records. This was under the Brian Turner time, and Andrew Shack and those guys, Howard Zadowski. Dave was one of those guys. So later in life, fast forward to tape, he became the vice president at Strange. So in the midst of that, me and shouts out to my man Money Waters, out there in Dallas, Texas. Me, him, and Chauncey Clyde was working on a record in Kansas City called Three-Headed Monster. And Chauncey, a lot like us, an independent guy and all that, so he'll be connected to those guys, back to the streets. What's my man name out there, OG man, Rich the Factor and all them. So he in that circle. So him and Dave connected some kind of way and was riding in the ride. And Dave heard the record and said, man, that's Bleed. He said, man, you know, don't Bleed for Priority, man. He said, man, call Bleed. And what you doing right now? Man, Sebo was running together. Shouts out to Sebo on the West Coast Live, big bro. So we was at a time where we didn't know what we were finna do next project, his solo thing, my solo thing, and it was always a given the thing I needed from both. He gave to me in the plethora. But trying to figure out distribution and what we was gonna do for us independent labels. I still had a label at the time, we couldn't join the forces. But in the midst of that, figuring that out, Dave came along and said, well, I'm between contracts. He said, man, would you like to come over here to Strange? I hadn't met Tech and Trav till later. When I met him, it was a beautiful thing, you know what I mean? And I wrote maybe about 2 years or so with Strange.
What makes you so open like that? Because, like, I know you have a lot of connections all around. Like, I remember last time I seen you with Watts. This time you got a Rap-A-Lot hat on. And you talk about So what's going on? Like, can you talk about your Texas connections like that? Because I see you touch the whole city a lot.
For starters, I tell everybody this story. I don't remember being born, none of that. But it's like if I opened up my eyes for the first time, I have an auntie that still live out here in Missouri City.
What? Mo City?
Yeah, Mo City.
I'm talking about.
Absolutely. Mo City. Another uncle live off wherever, right off of South Post Oak somewhere. But he come out here like in the 80s and he worked for Rap-A-Lot for a little while. My uncle Frank Clifton, Lit J and Spook and all them are called Bubba, rest in peace. He died in the last recent years, but he worked for Rap-A-Lot. You see what I'm saying? And you know, my royal seed, my daddy mother is buried here. So I have a lot of old, you know, great uncles and all that I hadn't met. But coming back and forth, like I say, since I got over my ass, I remember being in Houston and seeing them buildings and the Galleria and all that. So when I come back older, like I said, it's like when you look at the 80s King Kong movie and they take him out of the jungle and these two high mountains. That's what them buildings was when you get to New York, and he started that reflecting the neck. So that been with me all my life. So coming back and forth, family and so on and so forth, always kept me plugged in near and dear to Houston. Not knowing later I hook up with a guy like Happy that's from Houston, and that became the nature of my sound of it in Lee Time in the beginning. So it always been that.
Everything happened for a reason, man. Did you was you like abreast to the business side of it as you was coming up, or was you like, I can speak for myself, like I learned a lot of stuff after the fact, after mistakes was made, after then you look like man, was you, because like I said, you was under two of the coldest. Is it something that you was able to kind of pick up as you was going along, or you like, man, I wish I could have knew this or knew that?
Yeah, definitely that, and about 90% of the way. Again, that 10% artistry, you know, I'm still growing from an artist to a young businessman. It's like my third label. I had a label called Criminal Records. I never got off the ground. Man, Paul ran a label for years called Detention Home Entertainment. Then by the time I got to Strange, I really did like a subsidiary deal with them, you know, for Strange Lane Records. So my label, a co-op more or less, been called Trapdoor Entertainment since like 09, 2010. So growing into that and picking, you know, from each tree and learning what to do and construct myself as a businessman. Yeah, of course. Are there any things that
you can use from then that still apply now in this digital age that we in? Because a lot of times people say, well, man, you know, that stuff played out. I don't be believing it. I'm like, man, anything just guerrilla boots on the ground, I still think that's gonna always. But how do you feel about that in terms of?
In the same way, man, boost to the turf, man. And something old, something new. See what I'm saying? I mean, it's digital as we can make these platforms to put the record out. It's still the same, pretty much method to the madness when you're creating the music. That's my fight as an artist. Guys used to hit me like this, hey man, look on, bleed, how much you want for a verse? But hey, bro, this is what I do, but where's for a mixtape? So it don't matter to me because I'm writing the same way I write every song. I still got to put my same work in.
No question.
So that part, something old, something new. I try to keep it together. I mean, the best of the old, some of this new stuff is cool, some of it is too much. You gotta figure which elements work for you and put them together like puzzle people.
I got something I really want to add. I want to go into some then and now type stuff, man, because I feel like you've been at the pinnacle of this thing. You've seen a lot. I mean, I don't know if you plan on writing you a book or something, but you should.
I got one, man. As a matter of fact, when you talking Strange, I'm glad you brought that up. I did an album. The album I did with Strange, one album is called Preserved. But shouts out to Son Baker on the West Coast. He was a part of Priority back in the days. And those guys, you know, they stay anything I needed. They always kind of assisted me throughout my career after the fall of Priority. But we did a book called The Making of Preserved. It's on Amazon.com. It's been out since about that time. That's the only book I ever did. I was checking you out when I come in.
But you got a story, man, a history, bro. That you one of those people, like you one of them sit out on the stoop uncles. Just sit up and soak up the game. You know what I'm saying? When you were at the height, man, when my balls, my word was out, and how you do it out, what was it like going back to Baton Rouge right in the heat of all that, in the midst of all that? What was it like? What was the reception from the people in the city and all that?
The funny thing, to this day, we got a small, minute thing with some of the youngsters, but 90% of the time, it's like I never left. Because what I do is go there. I say this, Kay, I lived in 41 states at least a weekend. I never lived in California, but I go out there for a week or so as long as, putting the work in. But I always, stay rooted and kept my feet at home. You see what I'm saying? We on day one since we've been day one. So I always come on back for that and reach out and do what I can in my city. They used to tell me this when we started the Corleone Found. They say, "Right, you gonna have to leave and go to these other places." They know I never wanted to leave my block. You see what I'm saying? So same thing, man, to this day. Anybody know me, and we know what it is going to the grocery store, black and white folks alike. The guy that's cutting up the meat, and I'm trying to get some hog head cheese.
Not the hog head cheese. We're going to get y'all there.
I don't know. But that's the thing, I'm just, I blend in society. I always stay calm. I always look at my album covers. I, say this, I ain't selling your face and ass, I'm selling your brother. So it's more like, follow me on this journey, this next episode. So I took backwards pictures in that sense. And really coming from the streets at the time and different things we won't get into, I wasn't really trying to show my face. I still had to put out a record. But I give you a jewel. The Balls of My Word cover was really supposed to be an rendition of, y'all saw the movie Crossroads, Ralph Macchio back in the day. You know about the great blues singer Robert Johnson out of Mississippi? I know you know about
I've heard his name, but I can't live sound familiar 100%. Yeah.
What a myth to it about him selling his soul to Crossroad to play the guitar.
Okay, yeah. I got you.
So I was really trying to go back to rapper / blues man. My granddaddy played the blues and different things like that, but never, incorporated. So I really was taking the picture. We come out here to pen and picks, and in front of a white wall, and I put the suit on, and guard the way, the Bible in one hand. But what I was trying to do is take the picture like on the crossroad. And the bottom of that coming from the south, the east coast this way, west coast, and up north. I wanted to take the picture where the front of it, you see me approaching that cross section. Yeah. Turning the back, I kept straight. You see what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
But once whoever, made a decision of adding everything else to it, I had to make it make sense for me.
Yeah.
So in the same way, I accepted it due to the fact of when you look at those tigers, it's coming out of wilderness. You look at that stairway, many mansion in the sky.
Right.
So that was God. It's a God that made sense. You know what I mean? From birth to where we go from here. So that was the aim of that, man. Yeah. So, but yeah, trying to stay out that kind of demographic at the time. There's about a couple of albums that you actually see my face on. Yeah. But I learned to take it like a journey. You know what I mean?
So now, because I mentioned all of the artists that came out, like you got the Ghosties, the Webbies. Have it ever been a time when y'all have come together in the same room or try to put something together community-wise and just try to do something for the city? Because you before all of that.
Yes, sir.
You and CeeLo and all y'all brothers, big time, y'all are before those guys.
Yeah.
But the timeline, it ain't just like a pocket of guys was here and then nothing else. It was from here all the way to now.
Yeah, and always on time.
Yeah.
And so, always had perfect flow.
Yeah. So was there ever a time where y'all linked up together, say, man, we got to do something for the city or the community or just a project or anything like that? You work with any of those brothers?
Well, the thing is this. Silver Slim being the OG, we just talking South Baton Rouge in the bottom.
Got it.
Loc would be after him and him. See what I'm saying?
Right.
Then me. Boosted on the street.
Right.
So from an OG to Young G's to the Baby Gangster,
right. Yeah.
We all in the same community. And there's places we done been together.
Yeah.
And different deals and records we done made, but not on the overall blast.
Yeah.
When you talking from where Slim come from, we saw Slim come from Animal to being bodyguard to George Floyd
man.
lawyer right now, and shouts out PJ and George Floyd family out here in Houston. Friend of mine on the Sprinter Slim. So that whole structure is neighborhood first, with us in particular.
Right.
Everything else that branch, and we can go down the list.
Yeah.
But that always been my aim. Like I said, our initial aim with the concentration camp. Consent ratio camp.
Yeah.
I looked at WC in the Mass Circle logo a long time ago, and it's the earth and the barbed wire fence.
Yeah.
So, oh shit, what Pac said, you ain't got to be in jail to be doing time.
Right.
So my whole relation, I remember we got boycotted for one of the rabbis of some of the Jews up there with priority. When we first, before we was hiding Illuminati and all this type of thing. So imagine what that was when we come out with this bold statement, this concentration camp. That was my...
They boycotted you? Or
well, they started.
Okay. Makes sense.
They started to. And I explained to the people at Pro-Art, I said, man, the thing is, I'm not doing that to separate black and Jew. I'm doing that to relate to that type of Holocaust and structure that's taking place in our modern ghetto, with selling crack and killing and all that. So we minds put together to try to figure a way from out of the street hood that we come from, and then eventually open up doors for guys like Boots and our younger generation to get them an outlet versus selling crack and killing.
No doubt about it. So now the thing is, we always been in a position where they don't ever want us to mention the Black Holocaust. What we went through.
Yes,
and even if that wasn't you wasn't taking no shot at nobody else's struggle. You wouldn't downplay nobody else, but a lot of times that's the perception. Like, look, man, because what was done to us and what's still being done to us, from what you're talking about on a hood level, it's all systemic anyway.
Yes, sir.
So, but the very people who were instrumental in putting that agenda together, they still don't want us to talk about it in no kind of way or give any type of presentation that reflects it or shows it.
Right.
So but you ahead of your time, bro.
Hey, look, and not only me, y'all. Ghetto Boy record.
Yeah.
What's the record? Is that Resurrection with Larry Hoover on it?
Yeah.
Like concentration camps.
Right.
And that's what's happening right now.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite Ghetto Boys.
Yeah, mine too.
Grip It and Resurrection.
Yes,
Grip It, Resurrection, we can't be stopping that off.
We can't be stopped.
Yeah. Oh, so let me ask you quick before we go. I can see CeeLo. I mean, CeeLo. I'm talking. I'm going to ask you about CeeLo. Keystone. What's your relationship with CeeLo? Now I know fans from back then. I know they probably love that connection, but time passes.
I get that all the time. You know, and time know my pain, man. I hate to say over 20 years we hadn't spoke to each other. That really, at one time you couldn't talk to me wrong or do anything as kids. Yeah, you're gonna have to see him first. Not that that's just the unity we had as brothers. You see what I'm saying? Right at that. But when that took place, that's the one thing that's bittersweet for me. Because when the money came and all that separated us in many stories, and we hadn't been able to get it together since then. Yeah.
We're gonna get you out of here. Keystone got
I was gonna go back to, I know P is doing a lot of these No Limit tours going around. I didn't know if you was a part of those yet or whatever. Or you into that as well?
Same. From one big brother to the next big brother. Baton Rouge big brother, New Orleans big brother. So at all them shows, anybody looking, my name has showed up in a lot of them. And we had debate about that. Hey, bro, if I can't come to the show, take me off the marquee and all that type of thing, you know. But out of all those shows, I did one in November 2018. So I feel like, hey man, we ain't got no bad blood. Like, what's the problem? It took me 18 years to talk to Pete. You see what I'm saying? I talk to C, Free C Murder sometimes. You know, shouts out to Cowboy G De Niro, the president of True Record. So he keep a line. Sometimes I speak with C, and Silk is my guy, and everybody else on down. You know, I think it's Fiend's birthday today or so. Moby, we got records, so everybody's family. But at the end of the day, I mean, how much can you make yourself available? Like you say, and then, hey, you know, it's almost denial. You're not trying to call it anything, but that's just it. And I can only speak from my side.
No doubt, man. Well, bro, we appreciate you so much, you know, for everything you do and for other reasons that we can't say. But man, we thank you so much, man. Thank y'all for time. Thank you for your contribution and all that you brought. Because when you stepped out, I was telling Lee, I was like, man, there's so many unsung heroes in the game. And we remember the days, you being a historian and you being a historian as well, we remember the days where the rappers always gave props to the DJ. The DJ was just as known. We knew Eric B. and Rock. We knew Jazzy Jeff and Flippin'. We knew Run DMC and Jam Master Jay. So I think that's lost in today's music to where even if it's not so much about a DJ anymore, it's still producers. It's still other people behind the scenes that's powering this engine that is the rapper that's out front that everybody sees and knows. So it's always good to have brothers like yourself that make sure, and all my people gonna come with me, and they gonna be acknowledged when they show up.
How you rock without a band?
Come on, man.
You gotta have a band.
And how you win without a team. And a team is not always 6, 7, 8, 9, 20, 30 people. The team might be a tight 2 or 3. Core. And everybody know their role, accept their role, and embrace the role, and we all win. You might be the face up front, but I ain't nothing without this cat that you ain't never seen before.
Look, I'll give you one right quick. Remember this in the 80s? You old school enough to know this. Remember the Chicago Bears, and they get on the 1 yard line. Walter gonna run that bitch, but they're gonna call the refrigerator.
They ain't gonna put refrigerator Perry on that one. Look, please, the only time I got mad at that is in the Super Bowl. Because Walter Payton didn't get a touchdown, but they gave the ball. You gotta let Payton get one. But you absolutely right, man. You know, when everybody feels included, in the success, then it makes everybody want to keep feeding the success.
Doing their best.
Like, I'm not gonna stand up there with the Grammy and just talk about how great I was. I remember when I wrote this, like, nah, man, somebody made that beat, somebody did this, did that, and the other.
Somebody thought of the whole concept.
Yeah, straight up.
Pimp said this one more time for Pimp.
One more time.
Pimp said, man, I ain't the greatest rapper. I'm a good character.
Man.
I'm a good character. Play my part.
He was underrated as a rapper.
Period.
Because the way we know, because of course we know how great an artist is as an artist.
Yeah.
A lot of it is based on how imitated and emulated he is.
He is. Yes,
and people still trying to sound like Pimp.
Yeah,
you know, today, like with Pop. So, you know, his greatness is still exuded and landed on, sprinkled a lot of people to make them want to even try to emulate that.
Exactly. Man, I got one more for you.
Yo.
I just thought about this. What did you think about the song that came out not too long ago when they remixed your song?
In California?
Yeah, with the young cat.
Shouts out to Problem, man. Shouts out to Kendrick Cole, Top Dog in the tank.
Yeah.
When I was on Strange, me and J-Rock linked backstage. He had a cap on, he had TDE. He label. I said, man, what that TDE stand for? He said, it's Top Dog in the tank. I said, man, my label Top Dog in the tank.
Right.
So we clicked off the bat. He had a right hand, a hype guy by the name of Magnum P.I. or King, they called King from, like, I don't know if you know, all them guys from Watts. All blood guys. So me and King will stay up with me all the time. Kendrick not Kendrick, man, Kendrick can talk on Facebook. We never met in the flesh. J-Rock. So, you know, Jay doing his thing, but sometimes he Kendrick hype man. So he'll be on the road with Kendrick sometimes. So me and King stayed in cahoots with each other, and he hit me one day and said, I got a young homie from Compton I grew up with, and you know, redid your rock. And it was Problem on the three-way, true story. It was, hey bro, you know, I'm honored and humbled and, you know, nothing but love and respect. I said, man, I ain't tripping on that, plus I like how you did it, because everybody that done bit that record, that's one of the most bit hip-hop songs of all time. You at least said my name, man. I appreciate that knowledge.
Come on, man.
Right. It's 20 or so years later. I said, man, take it and run with it. It was on a mixtape or something at the time. But if it's some money or something into it, just make sure I get my just due, but I ain't tripping. I was thinking more like this here. Or what I end up saying, y'all do a remix or something, just, you know, include all that. So I remember when the Shine did that for, you know, for Bad Boy. Shine did Funky Enough over. And he had the DOC in the video and really showed it in the real. I always admired that. And we talked about some things and had our lit in and out for a minute behind it, because everybody across the country was like, "Hey man, who is this? Mean Green, one of the people. I'm going to go see Green in the hospital. We leave here. Hey man, when that boy stole your record, man. Hey, my mama called me thinking it was this. So yeah, got to the point where the communication wasn't happening. He running doing this thing, get all kind of people trying to book us saying, let's do the old one and the new one, and that's all we had talked about. And it just never took place. So, you know, it left a bad taste in my mouth for a second, but after a while, you know, me and Corrupt and the Dog Pound was talking, and a few other people. We hadn't talked since then. There wasn't no bitter fallout like that. It was just that confusion. And we just hadn't reconnected. So I told Corrupt, tell him, said, man, you know, the young nigga love you, bleed. I said, let him know I love him too, but let's make, you know, and go from there. And we just hadn't had the chance to talk about it. Let's take it.
No question about it, man. That's some good game, man. My brother Young Bleed, this man has done it all and seen it all in the game. There's a wealth of knowledge that y'all should definitely try to feed from. And give them any social media information that you got, and we'll make sure to post it on the screen in the description on this video.
Okay, my brother. For the Facebook fans, man, you can reach me at on the Young Bleed fan page. If you're on Twitter, it's at Real Young Bleed, and if it's Instagram, it's The Real Young Bleed. Anything else, Google me, reach out and touch somebody that knows somebody, man. We out here, y'all right.
Yeah, it's your big brother K-Reno.
And your boy Keith Stowe, man.
Y'all just checked out another great episode of Underground Dialogue Podcast, man, where the name speaks for itself.
Another legend in the legacy.
Man, another legend in the legacy.
There we go.
We'll catch y'all later on. Peace and have grease.
What up, man? It's your big brother, K. Reno. I'm proud to announce that I'm a new brand ambassador to this new brand of clothing and shoes called Volage. Y'all make sure that y'all support this. It's already available. Houston-based company, straight out the A. Look at the quality of the packaging itself. We ain't even got to the shoes yet, man. And this is just one pair of shoes, one design. They got all kinds of dope designs of shoes that you guys can choose from. Go to volage.biz and find your order, find what you want. Wide selection to choose from, male and female items, and I'm proud to be a part of it, man. Community workers, versatile products, Volage, manufactured in Italy. Look at the quality of this box, man. Y'all know what it is. Catch y'all later on. Peace.
Level legit clothes, so get used to people asking you, yo, where you get those? Say we wear Volage. We showing up. We wear Volage. Next brand blowing up. We wear Volage. Get yours, try it on. We wear Volage. The world when you got it on. We wear Volage. The slogan we go by. The streets to the streets, we accommodate both sides. So many fresh styles attractive to your eyes. So we gon' put them on and let the whole world know why. We wear Volage. Get yours, try it on. We wear Volage. The world when you got it on. We wear Volage. The slogan we go by. The streets to the streets, we accommodate both sides. So many fresh styles attractive to your eyes. So we gon' put them on and let the whole world know why. We wear Volage. Get yours, try it on.
Man, it's your big brother K. Reno, and check this out, man. The Underground Dialogue podcast is offering advertising opportunities, man. You can promote your business, you can promote your video, your song, whatever it is that you have, man. Reach out to us if you're interested in promoting on the Underground Dialogue podcast. All you gotta do is email us at undergrounddialoguepodcast@gmail.com. Get it. And man, look, we got some merch that's just gonna blow y'all mind. It's gonna blow y'all. When y'all see the merch, y'all gonna be wanting to just dive through the screen.
We got some coming for you, man. We building, man. We building. So watch that thing grow.
Already.
I wonder if they ready. They ain't ready to have this conversation. Or these kind of conversations. But guess what? We gonna have them anyway. Underground dialogue. We gon' tell the truth. We ain't scared like a lot of y'all. Matters who they are. Do we bow? No, not at all. Dropping bombs on this wicked world, so it gotta fall. Underground dialogue. We gon' tell the truth. We ain't scared like a lot of y'all. Matters who they are. Do we bow? No, not at all. Dropping bombs on this wicked world, so it gotta fall. From the industry to the Oval Office, we expose the darkest motives of them all and disclose what the protocol is. Thinking and moving logical, stopping every maneuver possible, and apologizing for truth is not optional. We gon' help you with what you go through, reshape and mold you, and sweep over them weak lies they told you. If you living with no clue, we gon' deprogram the old you, and you get to keep your soul too.